If you were to ask me what the most important part is about getting my RZR from my house to the trails, it would be how I get it there safely. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So stick around, because we're going to help you better understand your tow rating capabilities and how that aligns with the type of trailer you're going to pick. Not only that, but we'll show you how to load the RZR, where at on the actual trailer it should be, and how to strap that thing down. So stick around, because after this you're going to have a really good idea of what it is you should be doing when it comes to putting your RZR on the trailer and putting that trailer on your vehicle.
What is up, everyone? We're back.
Man, we're all here at Carolina Adventure World just hanging out. Thanks a lot for tuning in.
Alright, before we start this video, I just want to give a huge shout out to my new buddy Nathan Dixon. I met him online. He was looking for some help with figuring out what types of RZR he should buy and how much his vehicle can tow and what types of trailer he should be looking at. So him and I went back and forth for a few days, actually maybe over a couple of weeks, and he is the inspiration behind this video, so I just wanted to give him a shout out. Hey Nate, thanks a lot for tuning in. Appreciate it, bud. All right, so let's go ahead and get into figuring out how you should be deciding on what types of trailer you should be getting, what are your capabilities as far as how much weight you can tow and things of that nature, by starting with the #1 vehicle you should be considering at this point in time is your vehicle. So here we have a 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee Altitude model with a 3.6 Pentastar gasoline engine and a tow package. This is also a 4x4 all-wheel drive automatic, so this does have those features as well. So here's the real question you need to ask yourself. The question is, how much can my vehicle tow? Okay, and you're going to find that if you go online to research this, that you may find a lot of different numbers. So I'm not going to tell you specifically how you should be figuring out that data, but I do want to give you some pointers. So don't just go online and try to find the very first number and say to yourself, ooh, this is exactly it. I kind of figured my vehicle could tow this much. No, that's not how it works. So specifically with Jeep, these Grand Cherokees have two primarily different tow ratings. So when you're looking at your vehicle and trying to determine how much it can tow, these are the things you need to consider. First and foremost, does it have a tow package? Right? So not every SUV comes with the tow package, and not all SUVs and trucks at that point, not all trucks in that case are actually built the same. So this has a tow package, as you can see, and be careful, because some of these SUVs, there's actually a plate that will go over this and it will hide the hitch. So if your vehicle has something that looks like that, a plate, and you don't really know if your vehicle has a tow package, do a little bit of investigation, see if you can pull that off. There might be a hitch hiding under there, and usually if this has a tow package from the manufacturer, it will also have your pin connectors here for the two different types of plugs that go in here. This is more for like a travel trailer, something of that nature that has maybe a braking systems on that trailer. So that's the first thing you need to keep in mind when trying to figure out what your tow rating is. The second thing you need to keep in mind is what types of engine does this thing come with. A lot of manufacturers will change the tow rating capabilities based off the type of power plant these things have in them. These also come with a V8, and now they're bringing back the eco diesel Jeeps. So The Eco Diesels and V8s are rated about 7,400 pounds. The gasoline V6, this one is rated at 6,200 pounds. And last but not least is, does your vehicle have 2x4 or is it 4x4? So those three things will change the type of tow rating your vehicle has. So as I mentioned before, don't just go online and look at the very first statistic and say, oh, this is exactly how much my vehicle can tow. It will change, so keep that in mind. Another thing you want to keep in mind is what type of trailer are you looking at? So right here, obviously we have an open trailer. It is a utility trailer. I would venture out to say that a lot of side-by-side folks or four-wheelers or off-road vehicle people are probably using an open bed utility trailer. But keep in mind there are enclosed trailers. Some folks enjoy towing with a toy hauler, travel trailer, or a toy hauler fifth wheel. That's going to be a totally different segment, so we're not going to get into that here. But I will mention the enclosed trailers because they will change the dynamic of how this vehicle is going to tow an enclosed trailer versus this open trailer that we have here. And the number one reason for that is really because of drag. So the wind resistance is going to change. You're going to find that this vehicle is going to tow this open bed trailer much easier and with a lot less effort than it would with an enclosed trailer. So keep that in mind as well. Next, let's talk about the type of side-by-side that you're looking at getting. So this will dictate a couple things, right? This is not the smallest RZR you can buy, but it's knocking on the door there. The smallest one that they have is the 170. That is for basically children. Then we have the 570, and then we're going up into the 900S or the S900 and the S1000 series. If you look up the manufacturer's website on this model specifically, it will tell you that this is about a 1,200 pound weight rating, dry weight rating. Now that does change. If you look at this RZR that we've got here, it has an aftermarket wheel and tire package where we have a 4,500 pound Stealth KFI winch on it, a Gilbert Designs cage. So I mean, if you were to put all those numbers together, I'm going to assess that instead of this being a 1,200 pound vehicle right here, we're probably looking more about 1,500 pounds. You also got to add fuel to that. All the other little things, like we've got speakers, we got harnesses, all those things add up, right? So we're pulling about a 1,500 pound off-road side-by-side here. And then those two things are really going to dictate what type of trailer, what type of vehicle that you're going to pull your toy with. So generally speaking, this is about a 9-foot car. So with that, you're going to obviously want to get some type of a trailer that's at least 10 feet. Now, you want to keep these types of things in mind, right? If you are the type of person that likes to upgrade or likes to have the newest toy or is going to go out all the time, you're going to probably want a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to the weight ratings, when it comes to the length of that trailer, because you never know. You could own this side-by-side right here for less than a year and decide that, man, you know, I'd really like to be able to take my family out more often. So I want to jump into maybe a 4-seater, or if you saw our videos on the Ranger build that we did, we have a capability to bring 6 people. And those are just, I mean, the more people, the longer these vehicles get, the more they weigh. So just keep that in mind when it comes to what type of trailer you're deciding to get. And it'll also change how much weight these things can carry as well. So this trailer comes with a sticker, and most trailers that you go out and buy are going to have these stickers as well. So this thing can carry 2,100 pounds, so you don't ever want to go over that, because what that'll actually end up doing is it'll jeopardize the integrity of your axle, it'll jeopardize the integrity of the actual platform itself, and it could cause an accident, which would be really, really bad, and we don't want anything like that to happen. So that's basically where we're at. So can this vehicle tow this trailer and this RZR safely? And the answer to that question is absolutely yes. We have a Jeep that can tow 6,200 pounds. So if I was to just assess how much tongue weight I can put on that, it's generally 10% of your tow rating capability. So especially with SUVs, we're looking at about a 600-pound tongue weight. And I know just based off my experience that this is not going to be anywhere jeopardizing that tongue weight rating. So we also have a 1,500-pound vehicle on a trailer that can carry 2,100 pounds. So I still have 600 pounds of wiggle room there, which is really good because if, like I said, you're the type of person that likes to go out. I mean, we have this 12-foot trailer carrying a 9-foot RZR, and look at all this extra space we have back here. I mean, you could put barbecue grills on there. You could put an easy up with your chairs, or like this case in point. This is Cody's RZR. He's got 2 little kids. They put their little Power Wheels RZRs on the back here. Each Emma and Jackson both have a Power Wheel, so they just throw it on here. They kind of bungee cord them down, and it's a lot easier than putting stuff in and out of a SUV or even the bed of a truck sometimes, because both Cody and I have pretty big trucks. So that's really where we're at here. So if you are really thinking that, hey, I'm having a hard time deciding, can my vehicle tow this much amount of weight? That is the easiest way for you to determine that. Now that we pretty much have figured that stuff out, let's go ahead and talk about how you want to load your side-by-side onto that trailer, and how you want to tie it down, because those, I think, are also 2 really important things for folks to really understand. So where at specifically should you be putting your toy when it comes to loading it on the trailer? And I like to use the 2/3 principle. So if you were to take your machine and you were to break that up into thirds, you would want 2/3 of that machine to be in front of the axle. So with that saying, generally speaking, that means more of the vehicle should be in front of your axle on the trailer than not. So let's go ahead and see where specifically we should be putting the RZR on this trailer right now. Let's see. Alright, so if I was using my principle on the 2/3 mark, I think we got it pretty good. Alright folks, well, we've talked about a lot of stuff at this point. I hope you're still hanging out and following along with me. I'll tilt my hat a little bit more because the sun's starting to come up in my eyes. But so we've talked about a lot of stuff already. We've talked about the Jeep Grand Cherokee, how to find out what your vehicle can actually tow, things of that nature. We've talked about the weights and figuring out your side-by-side or toy and how to gauge how much those things weigh. Remember, the key point to all this is do your best to stay with the manufacturer's websites when it comes to specifications, weights, capacities, things of that nature. We've looked at the trailer, and I've helped you understand how you should be loading and positioning your vehicle onto that trailer. So now let's get into a really fun part, I think, which is kind of a part of the challenge of securing your toy to the actual trailer. And I've got a few different types of cargo straps here that I'm gonna just kind of run you through really quick. So we're from over here, we're going from the most capable straps to the least capable. So right here we have a very durable, very capable cargo strap. This is a 1,500 pound limit here, so it's really good. And we also have a 1,000-pound cargo strap system. This is a Husky. You can find these at your home improvement stores. You can find these at Lowe's, Home Depot, things of that nature. Then we've got these, you know, these Walmart straps for that specific reason. You can find these things at like Walmart, Target, things of that nature. This is a 500-pound weight capacity, and then, I mean, you laugh, but you know, you see folks strapping their toys down with these types of things. Clearly, I highly do not recommend using these types of straps. Some of these things are just, they're not very dependable. So let's talk about that. How do you determine really what type of cargo strap you should be using? And if you didn't know, we are in the Air Force. Cody and I are both active duty, and when I originally came in, I was an age mechanic, an aerospace ground equipment technician, and one of my jobs was preparing equipment in order for it to deploy to forward locations like the Middle East, the desert, whatever the case may be. So a lot of times I was taking equipment that are, you know, about the size of this toy right here, putting that equipment onto a pallet and then strapping that equipment down. Well, the philosophy behind tying equipment down to make sure it doesn't go anywhere comes from this one principle, and it's, what would that piece of equipment do? How would it react to our aircraft having to maneuver around getting attacked, and basically keeping that piece of equipment on that pallet so it doesn't shift? Because if that equipment shifts on our aircraft, it will throw off the center balance of that aircraft and could lead to it being, it could lead to a catastrophe, could lead to it crashing and things of that nature. So now obviously this isn't as important as something like that, but it still is very important, because if you're having this vehicle shift and move around on this trailer, it could do a couple of things that you're not going to like. Okay, first and foremost, you could hit a really big bump on the highway and it could shift this RZR to move over to the rails of this trailer, and it could end up scratching your stuff, right? Like, these are really beautiful MSAs wrapped with some EFX Motoclaw tires. They're super beautiful. The last thing I would want is for us to be driving down and this thing shift over and it start rubbing on this railing here, and then every time Cody's going forward and putting some gas on or braking, this thing just keeps moving like this, and it's just scratching up his wheels. I mean, that would suck. I mean, obviously this is an off-road toy, so they're bound to get scratched and messed up in time, but I think it'd be really silly for it to do that. In addition to this thing moving back and forth on the trailer, we absolutely don't want that. And heaven forbid you do blow a tire or something like that and you lose control of your vehicle. Now, the last thing we want is for that to happen, but if it did happen and this wasn't properly strapped down, with this trailer fishtailing behind your vehicle, it's very possible that this thing gets thrown off the trailer, and that's not something that needs to happen. So we need to tie these things down really, really good. So the basic principle that I follow is bringing everything into the center point of the vehicle. So when we're looking at this from front to back, what I really want to do is I want to secure this tire in this area to the center of the vehicle. All right. I also want to do the same thing to this tire. I want to figure out how I can strap this general area of this RZR into the center of the vehicle, which actually turns up to be the center of the trailer, and vice versa not vice versa, the same for the other side. So if we're strapping this thing down, what I really want to do is find out how I can get something in this general area of the toy strapped to the back end of the trailer where the driver's side rear wheel is. Now, that's not always going to be something you can do, and it's not always going to be something you're going to want to do or have to do. But if it was me and I was going on a very long trip, that's how I would want to secure this vehicle. If you can't figure out how to do that, what you also want to consider is strapping this front area down laterally to the driver's side. So that way when you're looking at the vehicle, if I'm the vehicle and you are the individual looking at the vehicle, I would want to take this passenger side with a cargo strap and strap it this way, and the driver's side and strap it this way, so that it's basically keeping the vehicle from moving left to right. Now you also want to keep in mind that you want to be either in front of the vehicle or in back. So we're kind of using that crisscross pattern. And the reason why you're using that crisscross pattern is because you want to keep the vehicle from going left to right and front to back. That's really the point here. So if you can figure out how to do that, then you're good to go. Now don't forget that there are also some cool things that you can use. There are, you know, they don't design these toys with tie-down locations in mind. So this is a really cool strap that you can also buy, and usually really how it works is you can wrap this around an axle or something like that, and you can create a tie-down point. So these are really neat if you are having a hard time figuring out where you should be strapping the hooks, because a lot of these things are hooks, and as I said before, they don't always come with the perfect place in order for you to hook into, so that way you can get that strap in. Consider one of these. There's also these D-rings that you could use as well. These are very useful. So if that's something you can get your hands on, I would definitely recommend you do that. It will make things a lot easier for you. It does give you a lot more options for you to tie down your toys and strap them down to the trailer. So don't forget that these things exist. Don't think that you have to be bound to, you know, this one hook and trying to find a perfect place in order for you to hook in. That's not exactly how it works. So just keep that in mind. So here's a quick tip about how do you ensure you have enough cargo strap through your ratchet. So what I like to do is the two-turn rule. I know a lot of rules, a lot of principles, but you know, that's kind of who I am. I do like to follow the rules. I do like to have a lot of principles to make sure my stuff's right. So what I normally do is when I'm putting this cargo strap through and I am ratcheting this down, I like to make sure that there's at least 2 full turns in the ratchet itself to make sure there's 1 and there's 2, to make sure that there's not going to be any slipping of this cargo strap when I finally have everything secure and in place. So just so you know. All right, folks, well, there you have it. All of our straps are on. We've got 2 in the front, pulling from right to left and left to right. They look really good. They're super snug. We still got some play in there, but you do want that because you don't want to strap them so tight that you're putting undue stress on your A-arms or wherever you decide to put these on. You also want to keep in mind your compression springs. A lot of manufacturers definitely recommend that you do not put undue stress on your suspension springs. So if you are strapping maybe up here or somewhere where when you strap down it is putting some very strange stress on those suspensions, on your suspension, excuse me, you really want to be careful with that. So the front looks good, and then we also strapped her down in the back. So if you kind of see what I was talking about earlier, we have our straps going from this rear area back and crossing over kind of like that center line here, and we're doing that for both sides. I also put these I also taped up our cargo straps here so that when you get to your place that you're going to be riding it, you can just easily pull on this. It's kind of like a handle. You know, you just pull this, it rips this tape, and then you can go ahead and start to undo your ratchet strap. So very professional looking. It's how we do it in the military. So if you guys have any additional questions, you can go ahead and leave some comments down below. I would be more than happy to have, more than happy to answer them. And please, if maybe I provided some misinformation or I made a mistake somewhere, please don't be crazy and just start ripping the video apart. Throw that information down in the comments. You know, that does happen every once in a while. We get into our videos and we start talking about some of the things that we do, and we do make a mistake every once in a while and put some information out that is erroneous. It happens to us all. So just go ahead and throw those comments down there to help everybody else out that might be going through or going looking for information and help on how to strap your stuff down to trailers and how to decide what types of trailers you should buy and things of that nature.
All right, folks, so that's going to do it for us today. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We talked about a lot of stuff, and now you have all the ammo you need in order to make sure that you're towing your toys properly. So please do me a favor, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate this. We really appreciate all the support, and we'll talk to you again real soon.